So between the fires and the smoke and the heat, I haven't been going out shooting much. So these are some old videos of us shooting. This first one, obviously, is Sonora, 1968. And my brothers, my sister out there, my dad. And I was introduced to shooting quite early. There's my dad. He's having a little bit of trouble with his rifle here in a moment. Yeah. Like the round didn't want to come out, it looked like. But yeah, my dad was into guns a little bit, not too much. He was not big on ear protection, as you can see. He's not wearing none. It's my sister holding on to the rifle, and it's unloaded, of course. And that is me. I'm about a year old right there. So you can see I've been around shooting my entire life. Now this is around 1991, I think, or 93, and still shooting at rocks, as always. Still am. They make good targets here, and they explode neat. That's me, and that was the style back then. No, I was a good hillbilly. The rifle I'm holding is a Feather Industries AT-22, little 22. This is a rabbit hunt we did.
We got 3 rabbits today.
My brother Carl there in the middle, and the guys on each side of him are guys he worked with at a warehouse down in the Bay Area. And I'm just trying to shoot a little tin can with my 45. Just as you can see, it's getting late in the afternoon, and we're just doing a little shooting before heading home for the night.
Watch it.
And my brother Paul with a shotgun.
Bye-bye.
That's my brother Carl, and that is, I believe that was a Marlin 44 lever action that he used to own. And this is still mid-90s, and he liked to practice quick drawing with I think he had a Ruger Blackhawk 44 Magnum, but I don't really remember. This is me practicing shooting and running with my 45. You can see I was a little bit lighter and had more hair back then. I can't run like that no more. I'm too old.
Turn around and smile.
My brother Paul practicing a quick draw with, I think he had a Ruger Blackhawk also around that time. 357 Magnum though. Brother Carl with an A2 AR-15. And spraying and praying.
Yep.
Now this is a Colt Sporter. This is the first AR-15 I owned. Bought it back in '91. And yeah, it's actually, while you're trying to run, it's hard to hit a target.
He's all over the place. You didn't even touch that target, man.
And that's my dad yelling in the background. This is Paul using my brother's, Carl's AR. He kind of cheated. He was supposed to run up and keep running and moving, but that's okay.
Am I supposed to be stopping for a minute? Okay.
And then the last 3 or 4 stop and shoot.
No, you shot more than 3 or 4 down there, too.
Like this?
Yeah.
Run!
And I think this is the first time my dad even shot AR-15s. He was never really much into semi-autos. And here we are shooting rocks again.
It's gone.
This is a little bit later, 96. That's Carl. That's my little old AMC
Oh, keep shooting.
Eagle back there I used to have.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're out at a place between Friendly and Silver Springs. Just doing a little bit of shooting.
Whoa, did you see that?
No.
We'll turn it up.
Okay,
Shooting
go
at
ahead.
something up on that hillside. I don't think that old analog camcorder would zoom in far enough.
Try it
from what I
again.
recall. I think I tried to zoom in here in a minute, but
Try again. How you doing?
I'm hitting the area.
Now I'm trying it. And I don't think we can see any impacts with the camera. The cameras just weren't that good back then, and as you can tell, we're holding the camera. It's not on a tripod, even though we do have a tripod out there, but it's kind of windy, and we're worried about the wind blowing the tripod over.
Ooh, that was awesome.
And I'm trying quick draw, and I think that is my, I believe that's the Daewoo DP51 9mm I used to own. So I lowered the hammer, but I just double action trigger pull. But the wind's howling out there.
Okay, here's test 1, and go!
And Carl, he has a 1911.
Test 2, and
I believe it was a 1911. He
go!
also had a, I think it was a Taurus 92 9mm around the same
Test
time.
3,
And again, the camera's not good enough to
go!
figure out which one's which, but he's actually, I think that's his first shoulder holster he bought, so he's
And
trying
this
to
is
practice
test
for
4.
drawing from the shoulder holster.
Go! Hey, getting better. Okay. Go!
We used to do this practicing and stuff all this time.
Go! And go!
Now, because these were video
Go!
recorders with little tape,
Not bad.
cassette tape in there, we were turning the camera
Go!
off and on a lot to try to save film. And like today, where you can record for hours and not
Okay,
worry about
ready?
nothing.
Maybe I'm coming up to hold the holster or something. I don't know.
Go!
But this is what we used to do, and occasionally we would go out there and record it. Again, I think I'm doing the DP51 here. The shoulder holster, I have my Colt 1911 in there, 45. And I bought that shoulder holster in 1989, and I actually still have it. I don't use it very often, but
This distance, you gotta use 2
I
hands.
still actually have that holster. It's an Uncle Mike's.
Yeah, go.
It still works. Now, Carl is, of course, southpaw, left-handed. Even though he shoots rifles right-handed, he shoots pistols left-handed.
Keep thumb on that stuff.
Keep it cocked and locked.
Yeah, blow my butt off.
You need to practice more if you're not confident with it.
And that would be
Yeah.
his
So you need to
45. I'm pretty
practice more
sure
if
he
you're
had
not
the,
confident with it.
Well, that's what I gotta do.
it was a 1911
Well,
stub.
practice
It was
with
the
that
1991, I think,
empty.
Colt, with some customization done to it. And as you can see, I need a lot of practice with drawing from a holster, shoulder holster too.
I'm gonna practice too. At least I'm hitting the target.
And you can see, my brother had mentioned about sweeping them, but I wasn't, because if you watch the slow down motion, I actually keep the gun pointing more towards the ground and then bring it up from low, not swing it from left to right. Just how I've always drawn. I always kind of go down and
Go.
up. And here, of course, we're trying some
Keep going. You got
rapid
more.
fire,
I counted
more
7.
rapid fire than
No.
one shot.
I must have overcounted.
You must have.
And we're shooting some Coors Cutter, some non-alcoholic beer that I got from work for free. Don't care for beer that much to start with, but a non-alcoholic beer just seems weird. And I actually got that can on that draw. That wasn't too bad. It took a couple, 3 seconds, but it was a good hit. And we're probably out about 10 yards from that couch. It's an old couch somebody dumped out there.
Hey, you can open it
we're setting up the ones that we just knocked off because when we hit the board, oh yeah, this one I hit.
Open it up without putting a hole in the can. Now that's professional.
Yeah, it scraped across the top
Okay,
and
next 6.
caused it to pop open. It was weird. Pure luck.
Little high.
Now we're a little farther back, as you can see, and we're just like shooting one at a time, one at a time. You know, I shoot, he shoot. And that's when you catch a casing, an ejected shell. That has happened to us a lot over the years. I've gotten shells down my shirt sometimes even, and they burn a little bit. Notice Carl's like stepping back every time it's my shot.
I was ripped off.
But I'm not sure again if I'm using a 45 or the Daewoo, but it ejected where it ejects was right there where he was standing. I hit the wood on the frame and it obviously knocked him off. So now we're trying Mossberg pump. That's Mossberg pump I had back in the day.
Didn't miss that.
Oh, now.
When are you going to throw it?
I threw it.
Huh? I've never been any good at trap shooting.
No.
Ready to PM?
Yeah, tell me when you're going to start throwing, though.
Okay, here comes the first one.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Second one.
So I believe we're doing some clay pigeons this time.
Third one.
I'm not much of a trap shooter. I mean, I can hit them when they're going kind of slow, but
Fifth one. Sixth one.
see that wind is just howling out there.
That was bad.
I think this is his Taurus, the 92 9mm. Okay, so this is a little bit later that year up in Spokane, and I had bought me a Haas Western Marshall single action 357 Magnum, made in Germany if I remember correctly. And I just set the camera up because I was practicing my quick draw. The gun is unloaded, of course. I'm not sure why I would have to explain that to some viewers, but that's just the way it is. And this goes on for a little bit. Now, when I bought this gun, I got it off a pawn shop up there in Spokane, just probably within a month before this. And the pawn shop guy told me that the previous owner of this gun, who he got it from, had shot himself through both legs with it, doing a quick draw. Shortly after this was taken, we were out shooting, and I was trying to do a quick draw, and it's cold, it's Spokane, and I'm wearing a jacket, and as I drew, I snagged on the jacket, and it went off. The round, fortunately, did not hit me. It buried into the dirt about 2 inches behind my right foot, but I still don't know how I did it, but the holster I'm wearing, which is just a cheap leather holster, it had somehow gone from the outside to the inside of the holster, clean through it. Because you can tell by the way the leather was pushed. But the bullet went through the holster, blew leather particles all over the back of my leg, and then, like I said, the bullet impacted about 2 inches behind my heel. Needless to say, I never attempted a quick draw that holster loaded again, or that gun again. The trigger was extremely light on it. It's one of the lightest triggers I've ever ran across. I eventually sold that one to my dad because he wanted a single action, and he traded it in for another gun. But we used to practice a lot just in the house. Guns are unloaded. For years, me and especially my brother Paul, who's closest in age to me, we would like practice quick draws against each other, and we do it like I would draw first, and he would try to keep up with me, or he would draw, and he had really good reflexes back then. But yeah, that's how we used to practice and get faster and faster. And so it's not the best holster in the world, but this is other than a 22, I think this is the only single action revolver I ever owned. And it was accurate and stuff, and it was nice. It was cheap. I only got it for like $160 back then. But yeah, that was a really light trigger, and mostly I don't care for single actions because of the shape of the handle. But and now I'm just not really into revolvers at all. I don't even own any anymore. I had a Smith & Wesson 629 Classic Hunter that I bought probably about 8 years before this, 7 years before this. Had a Taurus 44, and actually I would still have a Taurus 44 at this time. But I'm not sure if I have any video. I don't think I have any video of me shooting that one. So, anyway, it's been rambling and bored, but this is what we used to do. This is before long before you two ever got thought of. So, anyway, thanks for watching.